men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Mike and this is Mike's After Action Reviews, and with me today I have
Lore Master Brian.
And this is actually, you know, Dad, do you think that for the intro to this video I should say
Just start the video, boy.
Well, alrighty then. This is the After Action interview for God of War Ragnarok. So, as always, everybody, we are going to start with the game's production. So, the developer is Santa Monica Studio, which is most well known for God of War from 2018, and most recently did, other than this game, Ghost of Tsushima in 2020. Did you play? You played the original God of War?
Yeah.
From 2018, and well, not the original, you know, like when they restarted this whole thing, and then Ghost of Tsushima 2020.
Yes, I also played that.
Did you play Icky Island? I never beat Icky Island. Like, I never went back for Icky Island.
No, I don't know about. I don't recall Icky Island in particular. No.
That's the DLC.
Oh no, I don't. No, I didn't.
Okay. And then the publisher, Sony Interactive Entertainment. Most well known for Horizon Forbidden West in 2022, and then also most recently released, again other than this game, Stray in 2022. You didn't play Stray though, did you?
No.
Okay. So, by the way, actually, one second. I just want to say something before we really get into this so you guys understand. Lore Master Brian is my father. I specifically asked him, I just want to say this before we get really into the video, I asked him to review this video game with me because I thought it would be great, because we have, you know, Atreus, and then, wait, where would it be? It's here. I got to figure out how to use the green screen right. And then we got Kratos. So when you guys see the thumbnail, hopefully you guys like the thumbnail. It'll be Dad's face over on Kratos. So that's what's up with the intro. But anyway, Dad, what did you think? So what do you think of some of those games like Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War 2018? Anything you have to say about Sony Interactive Entertainment or Santa Monica Studio?
Well, especially with each one of those games and everything else, they being open world like they were. There's it gave a lot of variety and a lot of hours of gameplay for people that were just sticking to the story, because you got a lot of sidelines you could do and everything else. So they're all good games to me. Okay.
Yeah, I will second that. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. I think that it got cheated as far as being Game of the Year in 2020 against Last of Us 2. Like, I hated that game. Thank you, Naughty Dog, for making a game that I hated so much I started a YouTube channel. And then I think Santa Monica Studio is a big one though. Santa Monica Studio is they made the Dark Universe games. Like, you played the Vampire Masquerade, right?
No, I can't. I don't remember if I did or not.
Yeah, Santa Monica Studio is a big name, but they did a really great job with the original. Like I said, the God of War from 2018. 1 second, I'm going to sneeze. They did a really good job with here. I'm looking. I'm trying to find their website so that way I can just look at it. And instead, I get their Twitter and all of this. I want Santa Monica Studios. But yeah, they did a really good job with the 2018 God of War, and you know, so I've played a little bit of this game, but our subject matter expert today on God of War Ragnarok is Lore Master Brian here. So we're gonna refer to him, and I'm not gonna give too much commentary on my own thoughts on the game. I might give a little bit, but I think that they did. It's exciting to see them continue this. I believe they said that they're not making a sequel, like another sequel, so it's just going to be these two. And I haven't beaten the game yet. That's one of the reasons that I brought Lore Master Brian in as well, because I've been really backed up with certain things going on with the channel. So he beat the game, and then we're going to talk about it. That's also why this review is coming out late. But you're going to have to tell me if they set it up for another sequel, or if with the Norse gods. I've heard some people say maybe they were going to move to another pantheon, but any of that. So yeah, so I would say overall pretty good, like very good developer and publisher here behind the game. So you would expect them to make quality work. So we have a good foundation here. Also, I want to bring in the music, something that I don't think that you and I have talked about on anything. Like we did the Diablo, whatever, the Diablo remake, and we didn't talk about this before, but his music. So the music here is by Bear McCreary, and he is actually most well known for the terrible giant flop that was Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power from Amazon. It came out in 2022. But then he also did We Have a Ghost in 2023. That was his most recent thing. And that's a movie on Netflix you can watch. Actually pretty good. What did you think of the music in the game?
Well, I'm one of those who I can't stand the extra background stuff, so I always turned it off. But
okay.
But otherwise, from what I did hear, the snippets here and there, I mean, it sounded fine to me.
Yeah, I will say this Bear McCreary guy. Just as we're doing this, I'm looking up some other stuff. See, now I can't find Santa Monica Studios on Google, but Bear McCreary, somebody that probably nobody's ever heard of, has his own website, and it's the first thing that pops up on Google. But anyway, he did like Godzilla King of Monsters, Foundation, the TV series from Apple, and then Battlestar Galactica. He's done some really good stuff as far as the music. I haven't seen the music. If you're saying that it sounds okay, we'll just say it seems like this guy actually might even be. He's a big name in the music. Like as far as being a composer for.
Well, yeah, he did start Battlestar Galactica. That was a few years back. So I watched it. It came out on TV.
Yeah, well, not the original, the remake. He made the remake of it.
Oh, okay.
The music for the remake. So, but you and I watched that when I was a kid. I remember when it was coming out, and we watched it. I never saw the whole thing.
Well, no, because it was just it was your weekly, once a week show that came out, and everything else like that is all it was.
Yeah. All right. So if there's nothing else to say about either the music or the production, I would say, like I said, a very good base here to launch a game from. Excluding anything else that we have to say about this game, production companies and the music and everything made very. I would say, it's a good place to start moving forward with the development of a video game and what to expect. So these things are all looking good so far. Let's move into the story. So I'll just say before I turn it over to you here, and I'll have some questions and things for you as well. But basically, no spoilers. But at the end, well, spoilers for the first game. If you haven't seen the first game, don't come here because you need to go play the first game. Okay, but basically at the end of the first game, Thor shows up, and Kratos is now living in the area, the Norse gods, and Thor shows up, and you see his big hammer. This game picks up actually a little bit before that cutscene, and then what is it, like an hour into the game, that scene plays with Thor, where you see Thor and you're like, oh, here's Thor, and they give a nice intro to Thor. And now we're talking about, the titular part of the game is Ragnarok, the coming of Ragnarok. And Kratos and Atreus are coming up against Ragnarok. So, what do you have to say about the story? And what did you think of the story?
Well, it did play
I mean,
off.
you can tell us some stuff, but no spoilers.
No, but if you played the first one and everything else, where they brought up about basically what's Atreus,
yeah.
Atreus, where they talked about him as Loki at the end of the first game.
Yeah,
that is a big part of what plays in this one too, is because Loki, if anybody is unfamiliar, he is supposed to be one of the Norse gods, the god of mischief, and he's supposed to be an adopted son of Odin himself. So it does play off of that. And again, where the last game ended too, you got to remember that Kratos killed
Balder.
Balder, yes, and that starts the game out really big, to where it leads into everything that transpires and how they have to get over that happening, and Atreus is being referred to as Loki, and trying to decide, are you Atreus or you're going to be Loki? So
right. Okay, so the conflict there, I know, so we can talk about things from the first game and we can give a little bit away, but like I said, so when I say no spoilers, I mean like major spoilers. Like obviously we're talking about things moving forward, but so I'm deep into the game at this point, but so I know a little bit for myself, but I just want to ask you, this is referring to the first game. So in the first game, there's the conflict between Loki and Atreus. Atreus not knowing that he's a god, and then he finds out he's a god, and then I'll tell you, not a major spoiler, they do kind of continue that with him learning about being a god and learning what that means and stuff here. Does that come to, in your opinion, again, no major spoiler, does that come to a satisfying conclusion? Like, do we get some good development of that? How does that play? Yeah.
In the first game, and leading into this, you don't see that, where in the first game, Atreus was like, oh, I'm a god. And he's like, gods can do what they want, blah, blah, blah. He didn't have that kind of an attitude in the second game.
Okay.
In this one, but he did. It leads up further into the story, too, and to where he's like, okay, well, I can do stuff on my own, though. And so it doesn't always have to be about, he takes on, in the story, basically, he takes on, hey, my father can't take care of everything, and so I need to step up and I need to take care of him after, well, I don't want to spoil it, but some of the foreseen prophecies of the game itself.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, all right. And then, and so actually that leads me into the question, what about Kratos? So tell us about... So in the first game, this isn't not really even a spoiler, but in the first game, you see Kratos is kind of turned over a new leaf. Not the first game. Excuse me, I need to stop saying that. In the 2018 game, you see that Kratos is kind of turned over a new leaf, because in the original series, Kratos was just, everybody knew him as just the big, angry, god-killing badass, and here he's trying to be a little bit different. He's learned love. He's trying to learn how to be a better person. I'm talking about, this is in the 2018. Okay, I also read some comics and some little tie-in, like short stories related to the story of the first game, where they talked about how he straight up would go out and allow trolls to attack him because he knew they couldn't kill him, and he was trying to learn to control his anger and things like that. And we, just in the original series, you basically see him as just being super, super powerful. We get a little bit of a peek into him in the 2018 game. We get a little bit of a peek into him being a father figure, having some wisdom. How does that play out through the runtime of this game?
It does the same thing. It just builds on that. Is where he, in this one, it's not all about just straightforward smash everything, just kill, all that stuff. He's getting a different mentality of, you almost have to think of it as, well, I have to set an example for my son, which is Atreus, and so he likes to think things through instead of just being just dumb and all physical and everything else like that too. I mean, he's more capable of doing that, but he always in the game it seems like, well, if we can find alternatives, let's do that instead of just straightforward kill everything and be done with it.
Yeah. What and can I just ask you, like, what do you think of that? Do you like? Because did you play the original series, right?
Oh yeah, I played all of them.
Okay, so did you? Oh, that's right, because you've even played the ones on the whatever, the PlayStation, the handheld. Yeah. Yeah.
I played all of them. They started out. There's 5 before. I think it was 5 before the God of War 2018 came out, and that was Santa Monica came into the scene. But the original ones were they weren't open world like this. No way, they weren't even close to it. But it was all about blood and gore and hit combinations and all that kind of stuff.
So talking about the story, comparing it to the original series, this kind of goes for the 2018 and then this one as well. How do you like? So this is kind of 2 questions. How do you like the story? Because we're just kind of talking about the story. How do you like the story compared to the original trilogy and then all the little offshoots? How do you like the story here compared to that? How do you and with including kind of the open world and everything? And then how do you like Kratos himself? Like, do you like Kratos more now? Do you like him the same? Do you think that maybe him not being as angry and brutish and running around killing a bunch of people, do you think that he's lost something, or gained something?
No, it's I prefer it because there is more depth now to the stories and everything else, where it shows Kratos not just as whoever. I mean, he's got his beard, and you can see he's getting kind of older and everything else like that. And so, but he also has. Because of having Trace, he's got to set an example and everything else like that. So it's kind of, I guess you could view it as what society should do as a single parent. They have to set an example for the kid and everything else like that. And that seems like kind of mentality of getting into. With this one, whereas in the originals and all that, he didn't have any of that. All he had was, his first child, because this isn't the first time that Kratos he was married and his wife died. He had a child before, and that's what really helped to drive all that killing of the Greek gods. And now we're dealing with Nordic gods.
Actually, oh, sorry, go on.
No, he's not all about just go out and kill gods anymore or anything else like that. He just prefers, he doesn't want to have to fight, not anymore. He just, let's just live our life and let's just go on with it. But when he has to, he has to.
Yeah, I'll say something that I think that maybe a lot of people aren't thinking about is that, and here's kind of like your hot tip. This is the one thing that probably Mike's After Action Reviews is going to give you that a lot of other people haven't said, is that if you think about it, now that you've mentioned it, in the original series, like the whole series of games, the original trilogy plus its offshoots plus the 2018 and then this one, is actually all about Kratos being a dad. Like, if you really think about it, because I think it's Chains of Olympus, he actually gets an opportunity, this is in the old series, he gets an opportunity to go to Elysium, and he sees his daughter, and he sacrifices being in Elysium to save his daughter, to save the Greek afterlife from being destroyed. He leaves her, and he's sad about it. But it just shows he loved her, very heartfelt, not just some monster guy. He actually really, really loved his daughter and loved his wife. And that's why he was so angry. That's why he was angry all the time. The whole thing was centered around the fact that he was a loving father and husband, and now here we see another side of that, where instead of just he's more matured. I think it's interesting because you see you're my dad. Maybe we can have a little bit of a heartfelt moment here saying, I know that when you were younger, you were a certain kind of way, maybe a little bit rowdy or whatever, you have your college days, your younger years, and then as you age and you have kids and you start to be, now I have responsibilities, and not that you're any less able to get out there and kind of do what some of the younger people do, not that you've lost all of that, but just that, like you said, has matured, and Kratos is going through the same thing, the natural progression, like normal people do. I used to be, younger, take risks, go out. I never was one to really go party and stuff, but like go out, and I didn't care so much about certain things, so I'd act a certain way and be a certain way with certain people and stuff. And now I have kids and a house and a family and things I have to, a household I have to take care of. So it's kind of, Kratos is moving through the natural progression of life just like everybody else.
Yeah, and again, in the Ragnarok, it's where he doesn't want Trace to have to worry about any of that stuff. He's experienced. He's just trying to shelter him from that and just get him away from it, because just not to have to let him have to worry about that kind of stuff. But
yeah. All right. Would you say that how would you say the story went? Would you say that it came to a satisfying conclusion? I haven't seen the ending yet. Did they leave it open for them to go do more Norse god stuff, or did they? No. Okay. Did they leave it open for them to do another journey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Into some other stuff.
There's only stuff that you can do after you complete the game, and it has to do with tier.
Okay.
That you have to do after the end of the game, and then with tier, you have to go to. And it doesn't help. It's not like a spoiler. You have to go around and you have to find. You have to go to each one of the different realms and find him in a specific place, and he's doing something in each one of those. And so that kind of is foreshadowing for what they could possibly be expanding into in the new pantheon of gods, what have you. And that's the same thing that I've seen on some talk from other YouTubers and stuff like that, to where they open it up. They can't decide, and there hasn't been anything specific about what pantheon they want to go to for the next round of gods or whatever. But then again, later in the story, also it's also better. It's really indicated towards the end of it too, where I think that they're going to try to do a spin-off just with Loki or
Atreus.
Yeah. I think they're going to try to. There could possibly be just a spin-off with his own independent game also.
Yeah, it would be cool. I think it would be cool to see. I don't know. I'm not even talking about necessarily building a whole game around this idea, but it would just be cool to see a scene where if you were playing a game as Atreus or Loki or whatever, him going and doing his own thing and then getting in trouble, and like Kratos is not even in the game, and then all of a sudden, as he's about to get like killed or something, the axe comes flying in, or the chaos blades stab the enemy. Like, get up, boy! What are you doing? It's gonna get yourself killed. That'd be cool to see in another game.
Yeah, I don't. And there is a possibility. It's because of the way they do this too. Is because you got used to it was Kratos and Atreus, but in this one now, all of a sudden, hey, guess what? Later on, all of a sudden, you're teaming up with. I don't know if this might be a spoiler, but you play the game later on, and all of a sudden you.
Well, just a second. Hey, I'm going to put a timestamp up. We're going to talk just light spoilers here. Light spoilers. Skip ahead to the timestamp. You'll see it over here. Go to that timestamp. You'll miss the light spoilers, because I'm going to ask one light spoiler question as well. Go on, though. Yeah.
No, but that's where you don't do it with Atreus anymore. Then you're with, oh God, I forget her name.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's the little girl, right?
No, not the little girl. The little girl is the prophet, the giant prophet.
Oh, you're talking about let me see. Freya.
Yeah, Freya. Yeah, where you team up with Freya then. And so you switch back and forth. Sometimes you get to use Freya, whatever. I mean, you get over the whole stupid, he killed Baldur, blah, blah, blah. And so it doesn't seem unlikely that even if Atreus gets his own, they do a stand-up just for Atreus, that it's all a possibility. They own the rights and everything else like that, to where Kratos may pop in because of the situation that Atreus is in too. So it just leaves a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask, how do I say this? I don't want to get into a major spoiler, but I want to ask at least a light spoiler question here. At the end of the first game, there's a prophecy, and again, like I said, skip to the timestamp, like I said, but also, if you haven't played the first game, you shouldn't even be here, but anyway, here we go. At the end of the first game, there's a prophecy that Kratos is going to die. Now, I don't, again, not major spoiler here, but was the conclusion of whatever that is effective, or was it cheesy, or was it interesting? Did you like it? Well, what did you think?
Well, that's what was so funny too. Yeah, because now since we're jumping ahead timestamp and everything else, in this one it even comes in even more detail when he meets the giant, the female, and I can't remember her name right now, but it's already written on a stone that she wrote down. It's not just in that big temple.
Yeah, Angraboda is her name. Angraboda.
Yeah, and it's foreseen, and she's like, hey, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't fight it. It's going to happen. And that's where they just refused, and they said, no, fate is, we decide our own fates. And so that prophecy or whatever have you does not come to pass. But it does play a major part on Atreus thinking that he needed to prevent his father from dying without telling his father that it was prophesied that Kratos was supposed to die.
Okay. Oh yeah, I would say I would. I would say that's not too bad of a spoiler to give away, but yeah. So just that's cool. So okay, this is going to be where we're going to stop with spoilers. Okay. Okay. So then I just again no spoilers, because this is now people are going to have skipped ahead to this. I'm going to kind of ask you the same kind of question, not the spoiler. So at the beginning the end of the last game, there was a prophecy that Kratos is going to die. Okay. If you want the spoiler answer, go back and watch the part that you just skipped to if you're skipping spoilers. Now, fate. We're talking about, this is basically about fate, and you mentioned this, so I'm kind of reiterating this for people who skipped. So this is about fate and what role fate plays in the way that we move forward with our lives. And it almost kind of makes me think of like when you have in other forms of media like books and movies and stuff, you'll have like a prophecy of, hey, you're going to die or this is going to happen, and then everything that you do to try to prevent it is what causes it, is what causes that thing to happen. I'm just basically commenting on what you just said. Like, fate. This one is about fate and how that, or at least that plays a part in the story.
Right. Because because in the story they even have, if anybody's familiar with Norse mythology, they also have cultivators.
Okay, sorry, your audio kind of cut out a little bit. Can you say that again? They have what?
In Norse mythology, they had three people, and they had it in Greek too. But they had the blind women. Right. They're called fates. That's what's in Norse mythology is these three sisters and they're the ones who are like, hey, fate's fate. You can't change. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Okay. Any more information? No major spoilers. Any more major information about the giants? Because I know, like, that was a big part of the first one at the end. They find all the giants are dead. And then I do know about Angraboda. She's in the promotional material, so it's not a spoiler. But any more information about the giants? Not a spoiler, but I mean, like, are we gonna get more? Is it interesting? Is it good? How do they do that?
Yeah, it's interesting the way they deal with it, because one big thing is that you don't actually, I guess, how to say, you won't see anymore. Angraboda, that's the only other giant you're going to see, but it's not the only thing about giants you're going to find out in the game. So.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so then anything more that you want to talk about in the story?
No, not with not because I don't want to, again, no spoiler stuff or anything else, but again, it was a good baseline for a storyline. It was.
Okay. So you think that the story was good?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we're giving a thumbs up to the story here. Okay, so what about core gameplay mechanic? Now, I mean, we all already kind of know, like, the core gameplay mechanic for God of War games, whether the original trilogy or this new series starting off with 2018, is combat. So let's get into combat. I know there's some changes. We have the game. We start off with the Chaos Blades, and we start off with the Leviathan axe. At the point that I'm in the game, we don't get any new weapons. I have noticed differences in the combat. Like in the original, you could, I keep saying original. I don't want to say original. 2018 version, you could hold down R2, and you pull out the Leviathan axe, and you could basically just he continually swings it, he throws it, it does an attack, bounces back into his hand, and then he does that little throws it and it spins, hits the enemy, and then he grabs it with the other hand, and then he does it again, and it just can, that's not so much present. We still have some of the combos and stuff you unlock. So what are your comments about the differences in combat, how the combat plays out, improvements, pros, cons?
Well, there's a lot of different combat styles available for people in the game because of the content they've added with the rune stones or whatever they are called, the little tombstones, whatever.
Yeah.
That as you get them, and the weapon, the armor, and all the different attachments you can put onto each part of the weapons, it lets you decide, gives you more freedom of choice. If somebody just wants to be a straightforward brawler when it comes to stuff, great. If somebody wants to be quick and be dodging, not get hurt, not take damage. If they want to use more of the special powers of the axe is ice, chaos blades are fire, and then the third weapon is basically wind.
Okay, so you've told me what the third weapon is, kind of. Don't spoil it for everybody in the audience. You do get a third weapon, though.
Oh yeah, and that's where one of the complaints comes in as far as controls go when it comes to combat too, because in the original, using the controller, of course, you have the 4-way plus the joysticks and all that other stuff. Right. But it's always about enemies that come up behind you and all this other stuff. And I like the way you could just hit the down on a control when you're in the middle of combat, because you got people coming from from all different directions. And it makes it so easy to do a fast 180 to be able to keep swinging and not worry about getting hit. Whereas in this one, you need to remap the PlayStation. Like if it's PlayStation 5, you have to remap the controller so that you find a more adequate way of doing the 180 turn. And so that's the only complaint I really had when it came to that, because that's a feature I really missed.
Okay, so you're saying that you cannot hit down and spin?
No, because of the third weapon slots. The third weapon slots are, you have on the 4-way directional pad on the left-hand side. You push to the right, that's the Leviathan axe. You push to the left, that's Chaos Blades, and then you push down, and then that's the third weapon.
Oh, what is it when you push up? Put your weapon away?
I can't remember, but you can map that one. That one you can map it to whatever. That's really up is your heal. Your healing.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. That does kind of suck because you do have enemies coming around. So there is a way to map it so that way you can just hit the down and your guy will spin around.
No, you have to map it to some other like I do. You have the swipe pad on the PS5. Yeah. And just to make it as natural as possible, I used the left-hand side of you swipe left across the touchpad. You go from the left, and you can make him spin around to 180.
Okay, so there is a way around it, but I don't like that. I'm sorry. I even if you can compensate for a gaming feature like that, I don't like that. So that is kind of a con of the thing. What did you think of combat overall? Like I said, I felt like So where I'm at in the game right now, I just feel like Kratos is, like he's still at power, he's still just as powerful and all that stuff. I really liked though the ability to, when especially with weaker enemies, I thought it was cool to just be able to hold down the button and you're with the Leviathan axe be able to continually attack.
Yeah, well they don't. There is that one combo to where it's you can't just hold the button down anymore, because if you hold it down, you can charge every weapon with whatever element it uses. Leviathan Axe, it builds up an ice meter or whatever else like that. And then when you hit something, a small target, it'll freeze it. And so then all of a sudden, that is one benefit. Then all of a sudden, they're stuck for a little while. It's not like you freeze them and all of a sudden you only got like a split second. They'll stay frozen for a few seconds, so they're out of play unless you run up to them and then smash the crap out of them. Yeah. And again, the elemental side of the combat is you use Leviathan Axe, you freeze something, and then you switch to Chaos Blades, and that causes even more damage because fire hitting ice causes more damage, what have you. Same thing if you light them on fire, then you switch to Leviathan. All kinds of different stuff, especially with the elements dealing with they actually make use of the fire and ice and wind to help complement and increase your damage when you're fighting something, because some of them fights are. Hey, I've been playing games for a long time, but some of them is not fun. I did not pass. There's one called it's spelled GNA, like Gyne or whatever.
Or whatever is it? Okay.
Yes. No. That I still have not been able to beat her, even though I'm got all my stuff maxed out.
Oh wow, okay. Oh, so that's like a final level boss. So do they? So is that like the Valkyrie Queen or whatever, the Queen of the Valkyries? She's like that.
She's the one that she's the one that actually took over. Yes, she's the Valkyrie Queen, right? Because that would be kind of a spoiler. Because Freya.
Okay, so this GNA woman that you're talking about is like what the Valkyrie Queen was in the 2018. She's like this big bad. Terribly difficult. Okay, yeah. So we do have that. We have the big bad. If you liked facing the Valkyrie Queen and getting your butt kicked like hundreds of times before you beat her, there's another one like that in this. And
you also have another big end boss that is the barbarian king or whatever else too. That's another big one. He's kind of painful, but he's still not as strong as that Gyne.
Okay, cool. All right, so then let's talk about. You kind of mentioned this just a little bit, dipped into it a little bit. If there's anything else, well, I'll just ask: is there anything else you want to mention about combat then?
No, but no. There's just a lot you can do in there. There's a lot of customization available in the game. Ragnarök.
I was just say the customization is the next thing. Customization is special features. So I'd like to. Okay, so then let's move into that. I will say just to tee you up here a little bit, playing as Atreus, like actually taking control of Atreus, happens in this game. Some of his abilities are more emphasized, and then we have new tech trees. Sorry, not so much tech trees, but new character progression trees, new abilities, things like that. Let's get into the character customization. Character customization is the big thing, and then like all your different abilities and things like that. So the differences between the first one, some improvements, some differences, especially as a sequel. The big thing we do here at Mike's After Action Reviews with the sequels, everybody who's watching this should have played the first one. We have the baseline. What are the differences and the improvements?
There's a lot more customization. Again, like I was talking about, that also impacts your combat. And you not only have customization just on Kratos, but you also have Atreus and also Freya. So you can customize their equipment too. The first one, Atreus had armor or whatever too, but this is a little more
in depth.
Especially when it comes to what you can add for pummels and all that stuff on the weapons to affect your combat style. And then also when it comes down to the fragments, and I can't remember exactly what they're called. I mean,
the different resources you get, though? Is that what you're talking about?
No. It's the later in the game you actually get these like stone fragments, world tree fragments, or something like that, to where you can have you collect them, but then you can put up to 9 of them into your customization screen, and that'll affect your too. So they really went in depth when they give you a variety of play styles. I mean, that's just plain and simple.
Okay, awesome. Any other special? Hey, just real quick special feature before we move on. Do we still get Mimir telling stories at all?
Oh yes, you do. Yeah, Mimir. Yeah, yeah. Especially whenever you're in the boat, that's when he'll start talking about stuff. He still does that. He's still the same talking damn head he is.
Okay, cool.
But but as far as customizations are, like in the original, you couldn't customize it to where, like, let's say, you always want Kratos to move as fast as possible because you get from one place to another. You don't have to. You can customize it so much as to say always run. So then he's always running from one target to another or across the battlefield or whatever. You don't even have to push R3 down to have him run. But that is available. People that like to do it and everything else. So there is a lot of in-depth customization. Okay,
but that's not part of his equipment and stuff. That's like setting it up as far as controllers. The controller?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
And
cool.
Then, that's not for character customization per se, but it is in some of the special feature stuff or whatever you want to see, however you want to call it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So then, is there anything else you want to talk about before we go into final statement and review score?
No, I'm just the only thing, and I do believe that this is forthcoming because it's pretty typical for Santa Monica, is it should be pretty quick because usually by the second quarter of the fiscal year, I can't remember whatever they call it, but game released. So we should be getting that save or the new game plus, hopefully, because once you finish the game, there's a lot to do in it, but if it's anything like Ragnarök, the God of War 2018, they had the new game plus, so where you get to go through the whole story again, but then increase and get higher with your weapons and everything else like that. So,
and new armors and stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's just increase the levels, and they just get like a plus level on the armor. That's what happened in 2018 also.
Okay, awesome. So we're watching for New Game Plus right now. I do just have one question before we move into final statement of review scores for you. Being that we are father-son team reviewing the game, and this is a father-son game, how many times while you were playing this game and they had those little heartfelt moments did you think of me?
I don't know. It's a video game, so we don't even know, and all that kind of stuff. But it was I can't per se just thinking about whatever, but just as being a father myself, relating to some of the stuff we're finally seeing him coming from just being by himself and not having to worry about any of that stuff, to where Kratos' mentality and everything else changed from violent to, hey, let's try to find the best solution and not just a straightforward one. So,
yeah, that's really awesome. I will say, I do remember a time when I was a little kid and you told me, doesn't matter if I had to run through fire, I'd do it to get to protect you. I remember you telling me that when I was a kid, and I'll tell you just a little bit of a heartfelt moment, maybe a little bit away from the interview here, but I play this game and sometimes I think of myself and my son, or I think of you and me, and I think, like this guy actually is a great dad. He went through a lot of things when he was younger, but he still held on to his morals and his, basically being a good person as best he could be, and passing that on to his child is really awesome to see. So, and being able to see Atreus grow up. If we get another game moving forward, it'd be really cool to see how how the character moves forward because he has been affected by his father Kratos, and even if they do set up another game where it is just you playing as a Kratos or playing as Atreus, it would be cool to be able to think back, like, I remember what my father taught me, and I'll be the warrior, and I'll be the strong man and not quick to anger, and just whatever little things that you can kind of insert into the stories like that. That's pretty cool.
And that's what you have to look at too, is his Atreus' mother was gone, so it was only Kratos raising her. So, and that would be the values that were instilled into Atreus, and that's where you can. And again, this goes all the way back to the storyline, Kratos' development, blah blah blah. The way he acts is he finally starts to realize that, and so yeah, hopefully if there's a stand-up one, of course, because Kratos reflected on what he did when he was younger, even to his own father, and he didn't want it to turn out the same way with Atreus, viewing that that's what had to happen between him and Kratos either. So there's a lot of reflection and stuff like that.
That's a good point. That is a good point, yeah. All right, okay, well then let's move on into the final statement and review score. So just to review with Lore Master Brian here, and also for the audience, here at Mike's After Action Reviews, we use a 5-tiered system. We do not use numbers, so Lore Master Brian, please do not say a number. But we do bad games, below average, average, above average, and excellent. Okay, so I'm just asking you, Lore Master Brian is going to be the only one to give a review score because I haven't beaten the game yet. Would you give us just an overview statement of the entirety of the game and its quality, and then also tell us your final review score?
Overall, for the game, gives you a lot of gameplay output, and it does. There's just a variety of things to do. You can stay to the storyline, but there's so much extra stuff that you can do outside of the storyline, and all the gameplay and the mechanics and everything else, just minor things that need to be adjusted. Would like I said, the Game Plus, that would be awesome. But otherwise, even in the state that it is now, I would give this game excellent.
Okay, awesome. That's really cool. That's really awesome. And I'm playing it, so I'm really excited to be able to finish it. How long is the game? Do you know how long it took you? How long it took you to play through the entirety of the game? Like just maybe the main story. Let me see. God of War. I'll look it up as you're telling me too. So.
I think that they said the main storyline in and of itself, because a lot of them you can get done in maybe 15 hours, but this one it's like 30. I could have swore it was about 30 hours, even on the main storyline.
I'm saying right here, if you just focus main objectives, it's 26 hours.
Right.
And then if you 100%, it's 52 and a half is what it says. So,
right.
And it's an excellent game, so you'll be loving every minute of it. So, but all right, so that's all we've got today, guys. Lore Master Brian, if you want to say goodbye to everybody out there.
Yeah, peace out, everybody.
Yeah, all right. Hey, so we really appreciate everybody watching, especially if you made it to the end of this one. This will be a little bit longer format, so we really do appreciate it. Make sure to go check out the community tab. Make sure to subscribe because we're very close. We only need 268 more subscribers to that $500 cash giveaway. And watch out for, like I said, we're doing shorts now, so go check out the YouTube shorts, the community tab, vote on everything. So like I said, that's all we've got today, guys. We do want to thank everyone here at Mike's After Action Reviews. We want to thank everybody from the bottom of their hearts for being part of the Action Pack, and just say,
hit the like and subscribe.
God bless you all and have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.